the bit where I say we're just going to pack up and go. We're carrying on until we just stop oil. So we're going to be getting out on this, well, first we're going to be mobilising in our regions like hell, continuing on with these slow marches, which are annoying the hell out of the government. We're going to be like a swarm of blooming mosquitoes just going around, just endless slow marches, but building it up slowly in our regions. Then we've got to take it to London, because that's where the power is. And we know that they're looking pretty fucking weak right now. They're going to have a bit of a time in the next local elections, and in the next general elections they're going to be gone. Yeah. So we are going to just stop oil, but we need to make it happen sooner than that. We need to make it happen before that date. And how are we going to do it? We're going to get out on the streets, and we're going to continue slow marching, and we're going to hold that non-violence. We're going to hold that fact that we need to grow the movement loads and loads and loads, and we're going to keep going out there, causing that disruption. And I know some of you are going, oh, slow marching, oh. But the tailbacks that we can cause for slow marching are a bit more substantial than the 15-minute roadblocks we were seeing at the end of the last round. Can you call it that? And then, after those local elections, when they really are looking weak, when we've had the best job we can at mobilising in our regions, mobilising in universities, mobilising in our communities, disrupting every single cultural event and calling out every single institution that is propping up this filthy oil industry, that's when we're going to really go for it. So if you're one of those people who really wants to go for it, there's going to be a Non-Violence 2.0 training, and you're going to want to attend that. I'm not going to talk in loads of detail, but yeah, we're just going to keep going. I just passed to Sarah, who's going to talk a bit about like the things that have changed since we were going to talk about.
So I thought I was going to come to a cold, dark church hall in Birmingham, and there'd be about 3 people, because that's in the past that's how I've always ended up in church halls, because I used to be a Green Party parliamentary candidate. But it is so amazing seeing everybody here. And I was going to jot down what I was going to say about 10 minutes ago, but I had a phone call from Roger Hallam. And Roger's been in prison since November, and there's still 9 people still in prison, held on remand. And that is the sense of service and sacrifice that is in this room, and that is demonstrated by those people who are now in prison. And what we have done with that is that we have succeeded in many ways since we delivered that letter on the 14th of February. We haven't won, but we have succeeded. And basically, everybody, apart from the Conservatives, recognise that new oil and gas is an act of genocide and cannot be countenanced. And you, the people in this room, you've made that happen. And it is an amazing success. And, you know, that video shows how we did it. Words fail me. So the media and the messaging have been following the campaign, and we, in the end, what we have done is basically Just Stop Oil are now living in the heads of the Conservative government. If any of you saw PMQs on Wednesday, Rishi Sunak name-checked us 3 times. The public order bill was a response to the police and crime sentencing bill, to the bits that the Lords threw out, so they brought it back in the public order bill. The public order bill, the Lords have just thrown out a load of amendments, which will probably come back in another piece of legislation before Parliament. That's 3 pieces of legislation designed in response to Just Stop Oil. That is some impact to have on the national conversation. We are part of the national conversation. We are part of the political landscape going forward in this country. And we will continue to message and use that political voice to call out the institutions who are currently complicit in planning for genocide. And the people who go out on the roads and the people we've just seen in that video make that conversation possible. And that's why we're going to continue and why we can't stop. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming. Also, thank you to any police that might be here. Thank you for what you're doing. I'd ask you to consider, again, it's your family as well, it's your children too. I'd ask you to join us, stop arresting us, yada yada yada, etc. And also for the Daily Mail journalists, if you are here, that's the place to put in the article. So, mobilisation. We went to see the international groups last month now, because there's like 11 groups doing this. It's not just us, right? We've got this video, they've got their videos. A lot of them are just as impressive as ours, right? So I'm going to give you two really hopeful stories about that, and because we're learning from these people and they're learning from us. So yeah, the first thing I want to say is that they're inspired by us. Right? They're copying our actions. All over the world, people are copying the actions that we're doing. People are coming to us asking for advice, like, how are you able to do this? And one of the things he kept saying is, how are the people in the UK so brave? Because it's quite an odd thing for like tens and tens of people to be willing to go to prison for this, right? And that's what we have in the UK. There's a lot of bravery here. So we need to like congratulate ourselves on that. And we're inspiring all these movements by doing it. So the German group, whenever we take action, we start off, it's brilliant, but we don't have this thing to just like keep going, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, as it does when it really do, you get these massive revolutionary moments. But the Germans have got that, right? Theirs is getting bigger, even though they're taking action, right? Their summit video would be a continuous thing, because they've been taking action since the 1st of October, and they haven't stopped yet, right? The French group, very small group, there's only 10 paid people in the French group, that's a tiny, tiny group of people. They're mobilising 40 to 80 people a week are getting trained in non-violence. 40 to 80 people a week, right? For some of their talks, they don't even need to mobilise, they don't even need to leaflet, because people are just showing up. It's like, so we're learning from these groups, and it's like, it's not just them, they're all over the world, right? So we're not on our own. That's the first thing. So last time we mobilised 500 people, this time we want to double it. We want to get over 1,000 people. We're doing slow marches. It's a much, much smaller ask, right? There's also going to be some high-stakes actions, but it's a much, much smaller ask to go on a thing where you've got a chance of being arrested. So there's no reason why we couldn't get thousands of people in the road, right? There's no reason why we couldn't shut down London day after day after day after day after day, right? You know the deal. Right, and we're doing this because we're building community, right? Like this. People are coming together, we're making these connections with people, and we're spreading this all around the country. And that's the key thing. Ask your friends to come with you. Talk to people that you know. Talk to people in your lives. If everybody in this room brings one extra person, you've already got a huge event, right? That's all it takes. And I'll give one last thing, right? Because I don't want to go on too long, and I'm worried that I'm going to start going technical with stuff now and talking about stats, which I know everyone thinks I'm obsessed with. But in the universities, we've got some very exciting things happening. There's going to be campaigns directed at the universities happening all over the UK, right? We've got 10 to 15 of these happening. And we're going to try and get these non-linear moments where hundreds of students all at once become active. Hundreds of students all in one place come together, and then they're going to come and join Just Stop Oil and come and help us do this. And that's like the most hopeful thing for me. And that's the reason why I think we can genuinely do this, right? That's how much we've done. We need to go much bigger and much further. So yeah, thank you for everything everyone's done. And actually, one last thing, is donations, right? All of this stuff, all of this stuff costs a lot of money to do, right? And we're in a community together, we're all working together to do something which is going to help all of our lives. So put in whatever you can monthly. whatever you're able to do, it's so important to do this, because that's how these things are able to work. So yeah, thank you to everyone, and I hope you all have a good night. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've come all the way down from Scotland. Back to Birmingham, which is quite funny because Birmingham was where I did the first actions as well. Yeah, we just got asked to speak a little bit about, I guess, carrying on. And I think that what we've done is not just the actions that we've done, like we've really planted seeds, and those seeds are really starting to grow. I can give an example. So we've been doing weekly soup nights in Glasgow, and people are just starting to just come to us now. So the last soup night that we did, my postman came. Like, things are happening. Because we've been talking door to door about, yeah, it's disruptive, isn't it? You don't get your post, you can't get your train. It's the same thing as what we're doing. So we're really like building those connections with and solidarity with other groups. And I think people are really starting to understand that disruption is the only thing that we have as people. It's the only pressure point that we can put on the system. And as we see other groups becoming repressed as well, they're understanding my enemy's enemy is my friend. Maybe we were thought of as the enemy, but now if we're all against the Tories, we're all friends.
An example of that, I went to a trade union support, the Right to Strike rally in Glasgow on Wednesday when everything was going on across the country, and the kind of Scottish spokesperson for the RMT stood up, and he speaks amazing, but he was like, so do you know what, we're not going to sign any more petitions because they don't work. There's going to be disruptive action, it's going to be civil disobedience, it's going to be general strike, we're going to break the law. It was amazing because I was kind of like general strike, and obviously this is their tactics, but it was so emotional to see that and to see the way that people respond when you support pickets and the way that people from different groups, no one's saying, ooh, just stop oil, like it's people and it's building and it's lovely and it's amazing. We're doing good things, everyone's doing good things, and it's nice to be here. Yeah.